So I bet you're here because of the big changes to Canada's student visas.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We're talking about the end of the Student Direct Stream and the Nigeria Student Express.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. Gone. And now it's just one standard application for everybody. So in this deep dive, we're going to try to unpack what it all really means.
Sounds good.
Not just like what's happening, but why it's happening, and like what does it all mean for students now, especially those from, India, Nigeria, all this, like those countries with tons of students wanting to study abroad. So let's get into it.
It's a big shift for sure. A lot of people in the international student community, they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, Canada has always been seen as like this, this really welcoming place for international students.
Welcoming and like organized, so this is
easy to work with.
Different.
Yeah. Okay, so let's back up a sec for those who don't know. What exactly were the SDS and NSE?
Okay, so basically they were like...
What do they do?
They were like these special programs, these express lanes for students from certain countries.
Faster visas.
Yeah, faster visas, way less hassle.
Less paperwork.
Yeah.
Stress.
Because it's a very competitive system, a lot of students want to go to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So this gave them a real edge.
Mm-hmm.
It was strategic,
Yeah.
Canada was trying to attract students from, like we said, those high-demand countries, India, China, Nigeria.
So if they really wanted you, you got the express lane.
Exactly.
Made it easier for everybody.
Yep.
But now,
gone.
Poof, what happened?
Well, the Canadian government gave 4 main reasons for the change. And
lay it on me.
Some of them were a little controversial.
Okay, I like it already.
Okay, so number 1 is strengthening program integrity.
Strengthening program integrity.
Yeah. That's what they said. What it really means is they want one single process to review every application.
The same way for everybody.
The same, no matter where you come from.
Oh.
So they say it's about fairness and transparency.
Like a level playing field.
Exactly. But the thing is, some people are like, okay, so what integrity issues were you having before?
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Right. Like if you had to get rid of these special programs.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like maybe they weren't working the way they were supposed to.
That's what some people are saying.
So maybe it's less about problems with those programs and more about them wanting everyone to go through the same system now.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. And that actually ties into the next reason they gave, right? This whole thing about vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So vulnerabilities in the system.
The government says they're trying to reduce the risk of fraud.
Like people faking documents or stuff like that?
Yeah, misrepresenting themselves, and even exploitation of international students, which, that's a whole other can of worms.
A big issue.
Yeah, it's a sensitive topic,
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying a standardized process that lets them monitor everything more closely.
Makes sense.
And hopefully it'll lead to a safer experience overall.
Nobody wants to get caught up in anything shady.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense. What's reason number 3?
Equal opportunity. That's a big one.
Equal opportunity.
Yep. One process for everyone means everyone has an equal shot.
No matter where they're from.
Doesn't matter where you're from.
Okay.
Sounds pretty good at first, right?
Yeah. Sounds very fair.
Yeah. Promoting inclusivity, all that good stuff. But some critics are saying it's not that simple.
Because, everyone's starting from different places to begin with.
Exactly. They're like, hold on a second. Is it really a level playing field?
Yeah, like saying everyone can enter the race, but some people are starting like miles behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They're dealing with different obstacles.
Yeah. It's a complicated issue for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, so we got one more reason, right?
Yep. Last but not least, enhancing the academic experience.
Okay. Enhancing the academic experience. How does that work?
Well, the government believes this standardized system, it's going to attract students who are, really, truly committed to their education.
The ones who are serious about it.
Yeah, serious. The ones who are going to thrive.
Okay.
And that's going to create a more positive and supportive environment for everyone, right?
Okay.
But, of course, there are always other theories.
Well, I like theories. What are the theories?
Some people think it's more about shaping who gets in, like maybe attracting students with a certain kind of financial profile.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. So they've given their 4 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, everybody's got their own ideas about what's really going on.
Always.
So it's not as straightforward as it might seem.
Not at all.
Okay, let's talk about what all of this means for students, like on the ground level.
Yeah, let's get practical.
Yeah, what's the impact going to be?
Okay, so one of the biggest things, processing times. They're going to be longer.
Oh, I bet.
Everyone's in the same line now.
No more express lane.
No more express lane. Even if you would have qualified for the SDS or the NSE before, you're in the same queue as everybody else now.
So that's got to be tough on students who are, counting on that faster processing time.
Definitely. It adds a whole new layer of stress.
Right.
But here's the thing. It doesn't mean Canada's closing its doors to anyone.
Okay, so they still want international students.
They do. They still welcome students from all over the world. It's just the process is different now. It's standardized.
It's less about changing who they want, more about how they get them.
Exactly. It's like a system overhaul.
Yeah.
The government's saying the basic requirements haven't actually changed.
So you still have to prove you can afford it, do the language tests, all that.
All of it. You still need to show you're financially stable, you meet the academic standards, and your language skills are up to par. It's just the way you prove it and the way they review it that's different.
Okay, so the bar is still the same height, but the path to get over it is longer.
And maybe a little more unpredictable.
Yeah. So that's definitely something to think about for anybody considering studying in Canada.
For sure. It's a big factor in the decision now.
Definitely. Okay, well, we've got a whole stack of articles here that dig into all the details, so let's unpack some of that for our listeners.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What are some of the key things people need to know about this new landscape?
Okay, first of all, good news for anyone who got their application in before the deadline. Those SDS and NSE applications are still being processed under the old rules.
So there's a bit of a transition period.
Yeah, exactly. So if you squeaked in just before the cutoff, yeah.
Lucky you.
But anyone applying and no W. It's a whole new ball game. The regular study permit stream, that's where you need to be. And that means understanding how that whole process works.
So, yeah, do your homework, people.
Absolutely.
Because the rules have changed.
They have. And one of the biggest things people trip up on,
What's that?
documentation.
Oh, yeah, the paperwork.
Yeah, financial records, proof you can speak the language, your academic transcripts, the whole 9 yards.
It all has to be perfect.
Yeah, it all has to be meticulously organized.
It's like building a case, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're presenting yourself as a worthy candidate,
Right.
and you need the evidence to back it up.
So this is where getting professional help could be really useful, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
An authorized immigration advisor, they can help you avoid all those common mistakes.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to something as big as your education and your future.
Right. So we've got shift to a standardized system, probably longer processing times, big emphasis on documentation.
Yeah.
Sounds like the stakes are higher.
The stakes are different now. But it's important to remember this whole process is still designed to welcome international students.
Oh.
It's about finding the right fit, making sure people are prepared, and making sure the system is fair.
So it's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Welcoming global talent and making sure the process is fair and transparent for everybody.
Exactly. That's why this whole thing is so controversial.
Yeah. People are trying to weigh the pros and cons.
Weighing the pros and cons, trying to figure out the unintended consequences.
That's complicated.
Very complicated.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We talked about why the changes are happening, what the impact's going to be on students, and the importance of being informed and prepared.
And we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot more to unpack.
There is.
We'll be back with part 2, where we'll dive into the nitty-gritty of the application process itself.
It's going to get real practical.
So make sure you stick around.
We'll give you all the inside scoop.
Okay, see you next time.
See you then. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Round 2.
Round 2, exactly.
Okay, so last time we talked about like the WHY behind all these changes. Now let's talk about, okay, HOWA.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, what does this new process actually look like for students?
Right. Because knowing the reasons is one thing, but actually doing it, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. And I know one of the things a lot of students are freaking out about is like proving they can afford to be there.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
You got to show them the money.
Right, right. So financial documentation, that's still a big deal. And one of the most common ways to show you're good to go is through a GIC.
A GIC.
Yeah, a guaranteed investment certificate. It's been a thing for a while, and it's not going anywhere with this new system.
Okay, but for those of us who are like, GIC, what is that?
Sure, sure. So basically, it's like you open this special savings account with a Canadian bank.
Okay.
And you deposit a certain amount of money, usually enough to cover your living expenses for like the first year.
Okay.
And then the bank guarantees you're going to earn a certain interest rate for a certain period of time.
So it's like you show them you have the money, but you're also investing it safely.
Exactly. It's a win-win. But of course, a GIC isn't for everyone.
Right. What if that doesn't work for you?
There are other options. You can show them your bank statements.
Okay.
Make sure you've got enough in there. You could have proof of a student loan from like a legit institution, or you could even get a letter from a sponsor.
So like a family member or somebody who's going to help you out financially.
Yeah, someone who's going to cover your expenses.
Yeah.
But they got to prove they've got the money.
Got it. So it's all about painting a really clear picture of your finances.
Yeah. Like no surprises. They just want to see that you're responsible and you're not going to be stressing about money while you're studying.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so money, check. What about language?
Oh, yeah, that's another big one. You got to prove you can actually, like, function.
Yeah, if you're going to study there, you got to be able to understand what people are saying.
Exactly. Whether it's English or French, you got to show you've got the skills.
So you'll probably need to take one of those standardized tests.
Yeah, something like IELTS or TOEFL for English or TEF or TCF for French. It really depends on the school and the program.
So yeah, do your research, figure out what tests you need.
And don't wait till the last minute to book it.
Yeah, because those tests, they fill up fast. Give yourself plenty of time to prepare.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the finances, we've got the language skills. Now, what about the more like personal stuff? How can students stand out in this new system?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. It's competitive out there.
It is. Remember those 4 reasons we talked about?
Yeah.
One of them was attracting students who are truly committed, students who are going to thrive.
Okay, so it's not just about checking boxes anymore.
Nope. You got to show them you're a good fit. Show them you're going to rock this whole Canadian education thing.
Show your passion.
Yes. So when you're putting your application together, think of it like you're telling a story.
A story.
Yeah. A story about you, who you are, why you love what you love, why you chose Canada.
Ooh, I like that. A story. Make them want to learn more about you.
Exactly. Don't just give them the facts. Make it interesting.
Like what's unique about you?
Exactly. Talk about challenges you've overcome, what makes your perspective different. Show them you're adaptable, you're resilient.
Basically, show them you're worth it.
You got it. And your statement of purpose, that's your moment.
Yeah, your chance to shine.
Connect with them on a human level. Let your personality come through.
Okay, but with these longer processing times, I know a lot of students can be freaking out.
Understandably.
What advice do you have for those who are like biting their nails waiting for a decision?
Okay, first of all, deep breaths. You are not alone in this. Everyone's going through it.
Everyone's in the same boat.
Same boat. And things are going to take longer than they used to. Just accept it.
Right. Don't stress about things you can't control.
Exactly. Focus on what you can control. Make sure your application is the best it can be.
Yeah. Dot your I's, cross your T's.
And while you're waiting, don't just sit there. Research your program, connect with other students online.
Maybe start learning some French.
Yeah. If you're going to a French-speaking area, that's a great idea.
Turn that nervous energy into something productive.
Exactly. Remember, even though it feels like you're stuck, things are moving.
Your application is in the system.
It's in there. And trust me, the wait will be worth it.
Okay, so finances, language, the personal touch, and a whole lot of patience.
It's a recipe for success.
But this system, it's complicated. What if you need a little extra help figuring it out?
Okay, that's where those authorized immigration consultants come in. They're like the experts on all this stuff.
Like your guides through the jungle of bureaucracy.
Exactly. They know the rules, they know the pitfalls, they can help you avoid making a mistake.
But like you said before, not all consultants are created equal.
Right. Do your research, check their credentials, make sure they're legit.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Lots of questions.
Make sure they know their stuff. Okay, so we've talked about all the practical steps you can take. But even with all the preparation in the world, things happen.
Right. It's a human system. There are going to be delays. There might be hiccups. There's always a chance your application won't be approved on the first try.
So what do you do then?
You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you try again.
You don't give up.
You don't give up. That's why resilience is so important in this whole process.
Yeah. Don't let a setback derail your dreams.
Learn from it. Adapt. Keep pushing forward.
I got this.
You got this. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the nitty-gritty of the application.
Yeah, the actual how-to stuff.
But let's zoom out for a second. Look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This standardized system, it's a big change.
It is.
And it raises some interesting questions about the future of international students in Canada.
Right, because it's not just about individual students.
Nope.
It's about the whole landscape of education in Canada.
Exactly. Is it really going to level the playing field? Or is it going to create some new barriers for people?
Yeah, like unintentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it make the system more fair?
Or just lead to a bunch more delays and frustration?
Nobody knows for sure yet. It's too early to say.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
It'll be interesting to watch, that's for sure. And remember, immigration policies, they're always changing. What seems fair today
Might not be fair tomorrow.
exactly. It's fluid. And we all need to keep learning, keep asking questions, keep talking about these things.
Keep the conversation going.
Keep the conversation going, because the future of Canada's education system, it kind of depends on it.
Okay, we're back for the last part of our deep dive into these student visa changes. We've talked about the reasons, we talk about like what you actually DO, but what if it still feels super confusing?
It's a lot to take in.
It is, it's a lot. So besides those consultants, are there any other like lifelines for students?
Well, the best place to start is still the IRCC website.
ICC, for those who don't know.
That's Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. It's their like official site.
Okay.
And they have a ton of info about the new study permit process, like who's eligible, how to apply, even like how long it'll probably take.
Yeah. So it's like their main hub for all this stuff.
Exactly. But don't just go there once and think you're done. Things change all the time.
Oh, for sure.
So bookmark it, go back often. You can even sign up for their email alerts.
So you don't miss any updates.
Exactly. But sometimes even with all the info online, you just need a human being to talk to.
Right, like a real person.
Yeah. And that's where those consultants can be really helpful.
Like we talked about before.
Yeah, they can explain things, make sure your documents are all good.
Make sure you're not missing anything.
Exactly. They know what they're doing. But just a reminder, be careful who you choose.
Oh, yeah.
There are people out there who will take advantage of students, especially when they're stressed and confused.
So yeah, do your research, make sure they're legit.
Definitely.
So stay informed, get help if you need it. And I think most importantly, just breathe.
Yeah, don't panic. It's a process.
It is. Just try to stay calm and focus on what you can control.
Exactly. And while you're waiting, use that time wisely.
Yeah, don't just sit around twiddling your thumbs.
Research your program, connect with other students online, maybe even learn some French.
Yeah, if you're going to be in a French-speaking area, why not?
It'll make things so much easier when you get there. So yeah, turn that waiting time into something positive.
Okay, so we talked about all that practical stuff, but let's zoom out again.
Big picture time.
Yeah. What are the big implications of these changes?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah, nobody really knows for sure yet.
Exactly. Will it make things more fair? Will it really level the playing field?
Or will it just make things more complicated?
And will it affect how many students even want to come to Canada?
Yeah, because Canada's been known as this, like, really welcoming place for international students.
Exactly. Will that change? Will the student population become less diverse?
So many questions.
So many questions. But one thing's for sure, things are changing.
Yeah, we're in a new era.
We are.
Yeah.
And immigration policies, they're always evolving, so.
We just got to adapt.
Exactly. We need to stay informed, keep having these conversations, and push for a system that's fair for everyone.
So for all of you out there thinking about studying in Canada, what's the takeaway?
Well, it might be more challenging now, but it's still totally possible.
And it's still worth it.
It is. Just do your research, prepare yourself, and don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah, if it's important to you, keep fighting for it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our deep dive on these student visa changes. Hopefully it's given you a better understanding of what's going on.
And some tools to navigate this new landscape.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into whatever's happening in the world.
See you then.